Hi, it's me, Scott Jones, and I want to take a few minutes today to talk about how can we become more positive people. So, when I was 20 years old, there was one thing that I was really good at, and that is being negative. In fact, I spent time all day long, most if not all of my time, thinking about, wondering about, anticipating, expecting, what could go wrong, what could fall apart, what is life going to hold. And I was always fixated on these things. And I didn't know it at the time, but I was actively participating in making myself a more anxious person. In fact, if we look at what they have been discovering through neuroscience now, whatever we prioritize, even through our behavior, through the types of ways that we tend to think, our brain follows suit. It responds and it prioritizes those things too. So if I think positively on a continual basis, my brain will tend to build pathways towards positive thinking that are wider, faster, bigger, and it will, deprioritize perhaps thinking negatively. But what I was doing when I was young is I was choosing to think about negative things all the time, and I just became better and better and better at it. Well, here we are in life, and there are lots of negative things to focus on, even in the midst of this COVID-19 crisis. There are a lot of things we could anticipate. What's going to go wrong? What's going to happen? What don't we have? What's not working out? And these are things that we want to be careful of, because the more that we focus on these, the better we get at seeing only these things and possibly even missing out on a lot of the positives that are there. So around that same time, when I was 20 years old, I had a life-changing experience, and that was dinner at Lee's Chicken with my pastor, Ken Norberg. So I was, we're hanging out, and I was in a particularly bad spot that night, and I was listing off everything that was wrong, everything that wasn't happening. I was complaining, I was whining, and I kind of expected him to join in and say, "Wow, that's such a bummer," but he didn't. Ken looked up from his piece of fried chicken and he said, "So, are you giving up?" And I didn't know what to say. He said, "Are you giving up?" And I said, "No." He said, "Because it sounds like you're giving up. Are you giving up?" "No, I'm not giving up." And he said, "Good. So what I want you to do when you get home is I want you to get alone, and I want you to spend time thanking God for everything good in your life and for everything he's done for you. Okay?" "All right." "Yes, sir." And then he changed the subject and we stopped talking about my problems. So, it's okay to talk about problems, but when we dwell on them, it's a whole other world. So, I got home that night and I got some time alone, got into the bathroom, was my alone place, and I just started to lift up my voice, lift up my hands, and I started to thank God for everything that he had done in my life, and just for every good thing, for just my health, for, all of it. And as I kept going, all of the heaviness, all of the intensity, all of the negativity started to lift off, and I just got filled with tremendous joy. And so here's my challenge to us. It's not enough to say, "Okay, I'm not going to complain." We've got to come in the opposite, and we've got to do what's right. And that is, we've got to become thankful people. There are so many things that we can thank God for. There are so many things that we can thank other people for, or just in general, we can be thankful people for all the things that are there. Well, what if I do have problems? What if I only have 30% of the money that I need to pay my bills? Well, be thankful for the 30%. You can also work on the 70%. You could talk about that, but start by what you do have. Be thankful for what you've got, and then build on from there. So that's my challenge for the next week. Let's try to practice Thanksgiving. Let's do what Paul exhorts the Philippian church to do. He says, finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, and if there is anything excellent, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. And the more that we practice thinking about these things and speaking out our thanksgiving, the easier it will be to recognize these things in our lives. And in general, we will become more positive people. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.